All right, so I'm back with another video, and there was another thing that was on my mind I wanted to talk about in regards to just the state of urban music and hip hop music in particularly. Of course, I'm pretty sure if you guys know, if you guys are hip hop heads, you guys know that it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and it's a lot of things that has had me thinking and has me concerned in regards to the genre of hip hop and whether it's actually going extinct. And if so, why is that happening? Right? I will say for myself, I've been, I'm getting up there, in my 30s and stuff, and I've been a fan of hip hop since I was a child. And during my era and time, we had a lot of diverse acts, since I was a child up until being a teenager, we had a lot of various hip hop acts, and of course, Ja Rule, 50 Cent. In the 90s, of course, we had Tupac, Biggie. We had a Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul. So many diverse, amazing artists out there when it comes to hip hop music, and of course, this is just a small amount of people I'm mentioning. Leaders of the new school. You got Busta Rhymes. You have The Lock. So many amazing hip hop artists. And I want you guys to understand that this video isn't about me trying to make it seem as if, F hip hop, I hate hip hop. What I will say is that I hate this particular era of hip hop. And this is the reason why. If you guys noticed, right, in the past year, up until I want to say the very end of July of this year, there hasn't been any hip hop artists basically make it on the Hot 100 Billboard charts for the first time in a long time. And many people are questioning, why is that? And I'm going to tell you guys why. As a hip hop listener, as a hip hop fan, we're tired of the music that's currently being produced. If you guys notice that hip hop has been continuously evolving since its inception in the 1970s, late 1970s, early 80s. They went from it being, something where the community, we just used it as a way for us to celebrate and the DJs to be able to play the music. And, it just turned into a culture. We had graffiti, breakdancing. You had, the era in regards to Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Five. You had all of these founders of hip hop who aren't currently really on the radar as much. But over the years, things evolved and changed and stuff like that. But it was always evolving and changing, which made it so hip hop was still interesting. Somewhere in the years, I want to say within the past decade or so, we got caught in this trap era. And this trap era led into the drill trap era. And it has been stuck in this era for nearly over 10 years. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why hip hop is dying off, because there is no diversity anymore in regards to hip hop artists and creativity. Even in the early 2000s, when you had Jay-Z's, when you had Kanye West, there was people like Lupe Fiasco. You had people that offset it was fun hip hop with Kanye West, street hip hop with Jay-Z, but smooth, cool hip hop with Jay-Z. And then, of course, you had the DMX. And then you had all of these people that made it such a big diversity pond still. And, of course, Common, he was still out here putting out his conscious hip hop that made it so people were interested in what the culture was. Now, there is no diversity. And when I talk about this particular thing, I'm not talking about the female rappers. I noticed that this era of hip hop is being dominated by female hip hop artists. So I don't want people to take it as me trying to say, oh, it's too many female rappers and that's why. No, I'm saying that these male rappers out here, they need to do better in regards to their production, the work that they're doing, and the diversity in general. We don't have any conscious hip hop artists that's being highlighted heavily in the media. And I know there's going to be people that's going to probably go in this comment section and say, what are you talking about? There's this person, there's that person, this, and this. Yeah. Okay, but they're not being highlighted. They're not being pushed to the top of the algorithms on YouTube. They're not being pushed all over the radio, all over social media. They're not being pushed all over Apple Music, And, the other thing that gets to me the most is when you think about hip hop, you see the past 50 years, all of these diverse hip hop artists, and then we just got a standstill. We got to a standstill where we just started accepting anybody coming in and producing the same content. I've never seen or heard so much music being sampled in my life. Like, I am exhausted listening to the radio because every song I hear is a sample of this and a sample of that. And I think the sampling is terrible. It's horrendous. Like, back in the day when people had to sample or they did anything, they did recovers of it. The artist actually approved of it. I don't know what is being produced in regards to this current era of hip hop artists. And many people can sit here and be like, "Oh, you're just talking old, dude." I'm 32, man. I'm not old. I'm not washed up. 10 years ago, I was 22. I was still young. 20 years ago, I was a teenager. I was 12. What was I, 12, 20 years ago? I'm not that old. But what I have noticed is that a lot of the hip hop artists that's out right now, they don't really talk about anything of deep substance. They celebrate the genocide of their people. And this leads to my next point. Another sign that hip hop may be expiring and going extinct is that we have hip hop artists going on tour and having to cancel shows because people are not buying tickets. Now the question is, why are people not buying tickets? Well, I can give you guys an answer what I think. I feel like there's a lot of people that were supporters of these hip hop artists when they first came out as drill or trap rappers, maybe 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, depending on the genre of artist. And they're starting to grow up and they're starting to outgrow and wanting to hear the type of music that's being produced. I think that might be a big thing to it. What I've noticed that a lot of artists in regards to this current era of hip hop doesn't evolve really like that when it comes to their music and their lyricism. They pretty much stick to the same depressive music, that celebrates the genocide and the killing of their own people. Another thing I feel like is a big factor is there's so many rappers that's been killed within the past 3 to 5 years that it can make people just not even want to support the genre overall because there's a ton of them being murdered. Now, back in the day, of course, we had rappers that were killed, but at this point, it's just like nonstop. I remember seeing a video, I want to say a few years back during the pandemic, because nobody was working, and I was just going through channels, and I seen this person put up a video, and it was basically highlighting all of the rappers that was murdered throughout the United States in that one particular year, and it was like over 100 of them. Like it's just like it's sad. It's sad to see this is what hip hop has become, and it's starting to feel like we don't have actually rappers. It's just street people that just happen to just throw a microphone in front of me. I feel like we're not getting artists anymore, and I feel like people are noticing that we're not getting artists anymore. I think people notice that we're just getting hustlers, man. People are just like, look, I gotta pay these bills, man. Let me jump on this microphone and see what I can get off this YouTube. Like, these people are not musicians anymore. They're like content creators. And they're just like, my content I'm creating is for music, I guess. Like, I'm making content for people that like hip hop. It's not that they're sitting here saying, oh yeah, I'm making content or I'm creating music because it's coming from my heart. I love music. I'm this, and this. Everybody that's out here doing the music now is multitasking. I'm a rapper. I'm an actor. I'm a this. I'm a gangster. I'm a drug dealer. I'm your pusher man. I'm everything. And it's like, man, like, and on top of that, their performances, when you have people that are in the hip hop genre, they're not giving a show like a Beyonce show, man. I went to go see Beyonce in the beginning of July, and her performance, oh my God, amazing, right? I didn't regret buying a ticket because it wasn't like us getting the record and just putting on him. Because a lot of these celebrities, they be real lazy with it. It's just like they go out there, they lip sing, they don't dance, choreography be off, they just go and get their bag and run off. Beyonce put on a show, man. I understand it now why her fans go up so bad and so much for her, because this is my first time ever seeing Beyonce live in July, and I'm going to get back to hip-hop because it's not about Beyonce. And I heard her voice, and I was like, wow, like, you could just feel the energy of her voice, and that lady can sing. She can legit sing her ass off and legit dance, and she's an overall performer. And when you leave there from her concert, you don't regret buying a ticket. A lot of these hip-hop artists, I would regret buying a ticket. And me watching them on Twitter, I'm just like, why is people paying to see this, man? Like, and now people are starting to wake up and say, why am I buying tickets to see this? You getting basically karaoke night with the with the brand that's associated with the song. And the song sometimes not even their song. It's just somebody else's song. It's just giving karaoke like nonstop. Nonstop samples from somebody else because they're too lazy to produce. You know, I even think about the producers in hip hop as well. It's like, it's another reason why the genre could go extinct, because do we have producers that produce music anymore? Do we have actual producers? Because I just feel like the age of super producers like Timberland, Pharrell, all of that, all the Neptunes and stuff is so, you know, the past now, it seems like. I can't think of any super producers where I've heard their music and I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy. This is phenomenal. You know, giving me Missy Elliott's production type of stuff. Like, of course, Missy Elliott sampled stuff. I'm not saying that these people didn't sample, but then when they sampled, you couldn't tell that they were stealing, or no, they ain't stealing nobody's song. Hold on. Let me say that. Let me wind that back. You couldn't tell that they were sampling somebody else's song because their genius was like overshadowing the fact that they took 2 seconds or 5 seconds or even 30 seconds or, you know, use a track. They really flipped it to the point where it was so creative that you can't be like, man, why the hell would you do that? And nowadays when I listen to music in the hip hop genre, I just be like, why the hell am I listening to this? Like, why the hell did they do that? Like, literally, I was in the car the other day, and every song and it wasn't me changing the station. It was literally the playlist on this urban station playing the songs on the radio, and literally all of them were samples from songs from the 90s. And I'm just like, okay, well, shit, for this, you was better off getting the damn, you know, the real singer and doing a damn song feature. It's like they want to take people's songs and maybe these old head R&B people that's from like the 90s and stuff. I know a lot of people, they were broke, lost their money, or they sold their catalog. So whatever happens with the music after that, they don't have no say so. But I just feel like it's just overwhelming that they are so underwhelmed to produce some actual new fucking music. I've been sitting here waiting for it, and the reason why I'm not coming at the R&B people is because I listen to the R&B music that's out. And, you know, they choose and pick and choose to highlight certain R&B artists to make it seem like, oh, this is just these girls. But the girls have been serving in the R&B section. When you have people like Coco Jones carrying the torch, you're like, hell yeah, you know? And there's a ton of unknown people that's not that celebrities, you know, per se, but they're artists and they get a lot of spins and they have a lot of followers on social media that I listen to, and I'm very, very impressed. And I'm like, who's producing this? Who's producing that? And if it is a sample, the sampling actually blends well. It actually sounds good. It actually feels good. I don't feel like hip hop artists today makes music for people to feel good, for people to feel connected. It's just more so they choose a particular crowd. And that's the other thing why I feel like hip hop is going extinct, because you're not making music for everybody. You're not making songs that, okay, this is for the hood people, and then this is for the mom over there, and then this is for the kids over here. They don't make music like that no more. Everything is for the streets, and everybody's not from the streets, you know? Like, I can't sit here and be like, yeah, I relate to certain things, you know, like, oh yeah, this, I'm not, you know, like, and that's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that supported hip hop back in the day because it was relatable to them, you know, and they understood it, and they this, and this. But now it's just like, as an adult, when you're grown, you don't want to sit there and dance to music that celebrates the genocide of your people. I mean, like, who really wants to sit there as a 35-year-old? I don't know how many adults I have watching this, but as a 35-year-old out there, anybody's over 35, I'm 32, so I'm just trying to push it 3 years higher than me, because they'll probably know more, or, you know, could say more. Do you enjoy listening to music that is celebrating the genocide of your own people? Like, do you really? And listen, I know that there's people out there, hardcore rappers back in the day. I know there's probably people in my comment section, wherever, and and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know this person did this person did this, and this. Okay, but it's to the point where this is all they promote. I was so confused, and I have to say that, you know, this world and media has to do better, because I was watching the BET Awards in June, and it was a performance that was just so weird because they was tributing one of the rappers that got murdered. I think it was they were tributing Pop Smoke. And then this hip hop artist came out, I believe it was Chief Keef. He came out, like, mind you, Pop Smoke didn't die of natural causes. He was murdered and shot down and killed. And BET is doing a tribute, doing the 50 years of hip hop tribute, and they're showing people that's been gunned down. And then you got these drill rappers and trap rappers coming on, celebrating, shooting, and murdering people. It's just like, yo, like, bro, where's the coup at? I think that's weird. I think that's weird for you to have somebody perform. Like, how do you tribute somebody that was murdered violently from guns and whatever, that was robbed and murdered by his own people, shot down, and then you have somebody on the stage making a celebratory song about shooting and murdering somebody? That is like a spit in the face. If I had, God forbid, I had a family member that was a rapper and he was killed, I would have like literally tagged BET and said, "How dare you? This is disrespectful." That's weird, man. I just certain things, and I just feel like maybe, I'm not the only one who thought that was weird, and just no one spoke about it but me. But I just feel like that was mad weird. I think that was so weird, and it just let me know exactly where we are as a Black community for us to tribute like dead rappers who've been gunned down by gun violence, and then have somebody literally top it off with a song celebrating more genocide, death, and disaster. Yeah. But anyways, look, I'm getting lost in this. Anyways, back to what I was thinking about hip hop music. So, I noticed that, certain rappers that has been out there, Lil Baby, I think it was Durk as well. They had to cancel some shows and stuff like that. And then the icing on the cake was Travis Scott concerts being canceled overseas in Egypt because of, I believe it was religious beliefs, because of the different type of alleged rituals and seances and stuff that he be doing in his concert. The people in Egypt was like, "No, baby, don't bring that energy over here," allegedly. And then Travis Scott people said, "Oh no, that's not true." And then 2 weeks later they tried to come out and say it was canceled, but try to flip it and say it was because of technical issues, when the real issue possibly was actually put out literally the beginning of July. It was just like, people are really not supporting the hip hop culture. And I feel like, different cultures around us outside of this culture is fed up with the message that's being pushed by hip hop artists globally. It's nothing that is celebrating the life or diversity of the world. It's more so kill your people, worship the devil, Illuminati, all this different stuff, just random shit. And it's just like, dude, like, where is the peace-loving people? Where is the people that, want to talk about other things that's going on in the world? Like, and I'm not saying that it has to be, so peace, kumbaya, because sometimes music like that can be a bit, like, okay, it's kind of boring. But we can find a happy medium when it comes to artists out here. We don't always have to be in a state of celebrating of genocide and murder. It's weird. When I turn on white radio stations and I hear the artists perform, and I see the male performers and female performers, they don't, most of the time, I don't ever hear them encouraging their people to kill other white people. But I noticed that when I turn on a Black radio station, all I hear is like Black people telling Black people to kill other Black people. And then they go on BET Awards and tribute other Black people that got shot down to gun violence, and then they keep singing the same songs that's encouraging their people to kill other Black people. And I think that's just real weird and sick to me. And I feel like a lot of the people in my era, we growing up and we're starting to see the truth. And with that, we're deciding not to buy these tickets to these concerts. We're deciding not to listen to the music. It's only so many times you can resample the same damn song. It's just so many different levels in regards to why I'm personally just at the point where I don't even listen to the current hip hop. And you could call me a grandma. You can say whatever I want to. Whatever. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all sit here and say, oh, well, they had hardcore rap back in the 90s. And it was still better than what's out currently. And that's just real. There's no deepness to it. You know? It's just not deep. Music's not deep. You know, that's just my personal opinion. You know, but I want to hear your thoughts in regards to it and why you guys think hip hop music is not doing too well this past year. Do you guys think I'm crazy? Me personally, I just went and bought tickets to a rap concert. I mean, and it's levels of why. One being safety concerns, because and I'm talking about the new people, because I went to go see Ja Rule, and it was a vibe. It was peaceful. It was cool. It was older people there, so. But the youngins, I can't be around because it's always somebody shooting. Y'all celebrating that. You got people acting a damn fool. Next thing you know, you're dead. It's just a lot going on. But I just wanted to share my thoughts in regards to that. And I want to know, do you guys think it's possible that hip-hop is on its last phase and will eventually phase out before we start hitting the 2030s? Because we're at 2023, within the next 7 years. We're on a decade. Do you guys think that hip-hop will basically go extinct within the next 7 years or so in this decade? Or is it possible that they can revive it? When will trap music expire? When will drill music expire? How much longer are we going to have to listen to this music? Will mainstream wake up and start playing new artists that doesn't try to celebrate the genocide of their own people? Y'all share y'all thoughts about this, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Subscribe, share, talk. Much love. Peace.